Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the xTool live stream. I'm Nicole, I'm your demo host, and we're gonna do everything for beginners in my stream. Um, Today we wanted to make something about, or we want to create some test files so we know how the wood is reacting. I think that's a very important beginner skill to master, because that way you can make sure that you have the best results on your own materials with your own machine, because that differs, of course. As per usual, nothing prepared. This is just a normal day in the workshop. I also want you to feel that, so that you can have a real slice of life, knowing how the real world works. I think that's important too. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep it short and sweet today, because I'm super warm. I think it's nice to just focus on that one part, so you can easily rewatch the video later, so you have a clear overview of what is to be done. We're gonna put on some music. Let's see if I have that prepared for today. Let me know if it comes through in the right volume. I tried to be prepared. I tried to be prepared today and say what I said, but wow, that's yeah, that's so not me. Let me see if there is anyone. Okay, I'm gonna. Hello. Nice of you to be there. So, what I shall start with is the thing I always forget. Everything here in my screen, I need to say, because here, and not for me, for you, is that if this code here, if you put that in the official xTool website, you get €20 off on your machine or your material. So that's always really great. This code here, that one is to my xTool squad host. That's my demo room, and with there you can book a demo. Then either in real life, so on location, or online. It's difficult to word today. So if you would like to have a demo, so you're interested, maybe perhaps you also want to create some cool stuff with a laser or any other machines, you can reach out to a host like me. I'm based in Denmark, so for me it's most convenient if you want to have it in real, so in person. If you are situated in Denmark or north of Germany. Otherwise, it's quite a bit of a travel. Still welcome, but you know, there's a lot of other hosts out there. And if you go through this QR code, you can also find your way through there to all my colleagues. There are many of them in the UK and many of them in France and Germany, and in America there's a lot. So you will find your way. That being said, if you do want to order a machine and you do it through a host can help you. They can assist you with the order, and then you get an extra %. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but since many of the machines are not like €50, it counts, it adds. So yeah, it's always a nice little extra. And it doesn't cost you anything. That is the foremost thing why people, I think, like to do it, is because you can learn something, you can see the machine in action, and it doesn't cost you a single penny. Yeah, let's go to the studio. Then I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna set up. I'm gonna open up the studio and we're gonna swap the desktop. I'm still eating an ice cream because, like I said, I'm actually really warm. There we go. I'm just gonna create a fresh one. Now I need to find something that we can or want to make. Maybe I just open this. They're actually a little bit complicated for silhouette. I want something that's just a silhouette because that's the most easiest one. The thing I want to showcase today is when you make a test grid, when you engrave a bitmap, it needs different settings than if you engrave on a vector. That's at least my experience. Because the vector always has the same power because it can only have black. Whereas a bitmap like this one here, it has shades and gradients, so it will lower the power on parts, and that is why you get like different settings that are most suitable. Because if you have for example something with very close lines and the laser goes very narrow to one another over those lines, you might have like an inburn towards one another, which is then you would have wanted to have a lower setting for that. So that is why it's very convenient to test it out up front. Let's see, I made a lot of things in the past. I actually want something that has some gradient, but can also be turned into a vector. Make this bigger because I can't see it. Getting too old. Name me a topic. What would you like? What would you like? Very tempted to use my own bear. Maybe. It does have gradients. Where is my bear? I had a very specific one. These are all not the one. I must have named it somewhere and put it away. The reason why I say my bear is this bear also features in one of my songs. And I made like a really awesome glass of it with actual paint on it. So that bear became kind of a little bit my mascot. Hmm. That's not the one. I don't know where it is. I have lost it. Let's take something else. It's a bit situational because I want to have something that I can both make a vector and that also has gradients. And it's easy enough to use as an example. Bird? No, it doesn't have gradients. This one is properly black. This one you won't see. Nah. A swan. I don't know today. Not a bunny. Not a butterfly. Capybara? Anyone likes capybaras? Cats. There must be something. I must have something about cats that is nice to do. Let me see. Find something with a gradient. Does anyone like cats? I mean, I see a lot of funny ones. This is a pretty one, but I'm not sure how well it is gonna do on vectorizing it. So let's see. I can adjust this one. I make it into a grayscale. Then we make the white whiter, so it is not gonna see that as white, and we make the dark darker. Now you can see a nice gradient, right? Now let's see if we can trace this one with a good result, because I doubt that a little bit. So you have to play with these sliders a bit. Now it is doing too little. I think this one is too difficult because the lines are too light that it can't really see it. No, this is not a good example. We keep it for another moment. It needs to be simple enough. Scary cats? It might turn out to black. Am I coming through on my own stream? Yeah, I do. Oh no! I will show you guys what I'm doing, so this is, otherwise it's so boring. I'm trying to find one that is actually easy to trace. But also has some shades and gradients so I can show. This maybe? This one. I think this one does have some. No, it doesn't. Ah! Thought it had some shades. Yeah, this one. This is a good one. Okay, I found it. Finally. That's a downside if you don't prepare. But this is just what real workshop life is. You have to try some stuff. So, this one, I'm gonna remove all the excess white. So that's too much, I guess. So I turn down the fuzziness. So everything kind of stays as it should. So this is gonna be the one. And then this one, I'm gonna say trace. And now you can see, gonna want to have a bit more detail. The eyes are still not done. One. I also want the eyes, please. I think I'm gonna need to add something there myself. Let's keep it like this for now. Maybe. That's too much. Let's keep it like so. Now I will show you what it does when I now do this and I say engrave. This is what you get. So that's pure black. You don't see any gradients, right? I think it's actually fine. I don't. Should I edit compound? Let me see if I add this one. Might make it like so. Put it over here for a moment. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give it the same kinda shape of the eyes. So I need to just do this here, make it a bit rounder. Okay, I'm just gonna add an extra because otherwise it's... You go there. That's one. Just gonna... There. Making sure that it is a bit of a nice round shape. Gonna be too perfectionistic again. Okay, I stopped myself. Okay, I think this is also fine. Looks cute. Not 100% yet, but good enough for the purpose. So now I want to show the difference between these two. So this one can go, delete, and we still have this one here. Let's delete it for now, we don't need it. So here is the two different versions. I'm gonna crop this one so I have not the extra white space that we don't need, and I'm just gonna clip these little thingies off as well because we don't really need those. Save, gonna edit that for a second. Let's zoom in and remove this so we don't need all those little bits and bobs. Right, that's too much clutter. I think the hearts can stay. Confirm. Now this one is only boxed within the vector anyway, so this one is now boxed as tight to all the drawings as I can do, so that will line up properly. Now this one we turn off for a second, and we're gonna go for basswood plywood, apply. So that is in the material library if you click on that little square. Now we click on this one and we go to applications and say material test array. There you go. You see I have a whole big grid, and this is then what it's gonna do. So the speed is still 300 and 90 is the max of how much power it's gonna give, and the fastest it's gonna go is 500 speed and only 50 power. So this will be the least dark engraved, and this will be the most dark engraved. So you can always see that gradient going from there. Now we're gonna first see how big of a piece of wood. I just took a piece of rest wood. That's always the best thing to do. Just have some scrap so you don't waste any material. So let's first do that. Go to the machine. Show the machine as well. Oh. And there, I put a crosshair above my wood and I click this little button. Oh, now my screen has gone tiny again. Why is this? Every time again. There. Just putting it in the middle so you can still see everything. Why is it? Oh. I was still in something else. So it said, nah, not today. Now it's going to reset itself on the little foot. And now we see the distance it has measured. So now we're going to click on the little flag and we say polygon, so we can measure out exactly how the shape of my wood is. So I'm going to say start marking. I go to my machine, and on the front of the machine I can press the normal start button every time I'm at a corner where I want to mark where my wood is. So you will see on my screen that there will appear a line of dots. So when I say end marking, it will finish off the shape, but this is approximately the shape of the wood that I have. So I made sure that I was always on the inside of where my wood ends, so I will not accidentally go over. So when we now say material test array, we'll see that what we have is a lot bigger than that my wood is. So I might say like, okay, I want to have 5 by 5. So then you see that the values change here, and it has different steps, which is, I think, fine. So I'm just gonna say for now done, and I'm gonna make it small. I'm gonna place it on there. I think I'm gonna actually put it sideways so I can snoop off a little bit extra, because I still want to have it as big as possible. I think this is approximately fine. Now it shouldn't go over here. Perfect, and it shouldn't go over there either. Okay, so this is fine. So now I can see this is all selected to be engraved, and the other one is ignored. Double check. Yeah, this one is off. So this will take a little time. So I'm gonna set that to start. "27 minutes. That's actually quite a long time for showcasing. Let's see how we can speed that up a little bit. Dun, dun, dun. This is me moving it. Oh, yeah. And we're all the way back. Material test array. So I'm just gonna do like 3 by 3. Just for the purpose of showcasing this. Now let me take my own. Where is it now? All the way there. So my best area. Yeah, because 90 was, I think, too much. And 300 was too fast. So I'm gonna change these values now. So I want my minimum was actually 35. I think that was perfectly fine. I could keep it on 50. 50 to 90, yeah, that's actually fine. And the speed, 300 was too fast. So let's say it was quite deep already with 100. So we're gonna go minimum 150 and the maximum 500 is way too much because you can see it barely made anything here on 300 with 90 or 80 power. So I think we can go for 250. So let's go with that. 50, 90, 150, 250. So now you see it 50, 70, 90, 150, 200 and 250. So that is now the settings it's gonna do. So this will speed up the process a bit. And now we can also fit this nicely on here. There. And now we're gonna try it again. Should save quite a bit of time. See? Only 13 minutes. Now I'm gonna press the button. And I let you guys also watch the machine together with me. So the first one that it's now doing is, I think, 250 by 70. Not really sure why it starts with that one. But you see that 70 is actually not strong enough and 250 is still too fast. And don't forget, this is a bitmap. So everything that's light shaded will also be light. It will have less power used on the machine, so it can make sure that those gradients, those shades come through. You will see a very clear difference with the other part I will do. Now this is going to be 90 by 200. You see 90 is nearly the full power. And you can already see that it is a lot clearer. Canceling more slightly. That. it actually looks like that was 70 by 200, and this is then 90 by 150. There you can see a very clear difference. So just the same as with my previous one, you see in the bottom right it is gonna be the most dark, and in the top left it's gonna be the lightest. Now you can't really see that there. Let me lower the angle a bit. So that one, the bottom right corner, is the one you always need to keep your eye on most when you make a test engraving. That is the one that I always feel like, always try to be within the safe range that you think that you know. So because you don't want it to catch fire, of course. Now you see on the most right one, I think that the right eye is actually already too dark. It's got a lot of scoring there, a lot of scorching. I have a feeling that the 70-150 is gonna be a perfect one. Seems to be nice. So now we have 90 by 200. That one might also be very nice. You can kind of always see that they are like often like diagonal to one another, that they kind of even out. But yeah, the one just gives a better... What you usually want to go for is the one that with the highest speed, because then your work takes less long and it uses less power in the end. If you can choose for the higher one, it's usually better to go for the higher speed. And of course, if you make only one project, you know, and you save 5 seconds, boo-hoo. But if you make 1,000 times 5 seconds, yeah, then it's gonna count. Now it's gonna do the 90 by 250. It's going really rapid. I think I'm gonna meanwhile prepare the other one. That's a little bit slow today, huh? Okay, I'm gonna set this here. I'm gonna choose the same settings as for the other one. 3 by 3. trying to make them exactly the same size as one another. It's not as easy as I hoped. That is now the 250. Yeah, you think the bottom right? I think the one has too much scoring. Personally, I think it's actually 200 by 90. That is the best. The middle right. And now the last one, 150 by 50. My music ends? No. It feels so silent. Now it is scoring. That is what it uses just to scribble the outer lines on. I actually think it has a very light setting for the scoring, so you can barely see it. That's not okay. Normally the scoring is pretty okay to see. It says 20 power, 100 speed. That's very light. That's very light. I don't know why it chose that. Thank you. I was like, what do I hear? Thank you so much. Nice to have you with us. Hello, Mr. Deadfall. Okay, I'm gonna show you my screen because I figured out that it has a very light setting, which I'm not really enthusiastic about. Thank you. I'm being spoiled. Yes, you trip up and fall. I know that you do. You're very good at that. So I'm gonna check all these. Oh, now it is not doing the ones I wanted. I'm just gonna click them by hand, one by one. Okay, now I have them. And I'm gonna check out this setting. And I just wanna think I'm gonna go with 65. I kind of want it fast. $81.50? 8,200. I think 8,200 is gonna be okay. So that, and then we just turn these all off. So click, click. I hope I now all have them. And this line I added because I want to cut the wood there. So I'm just gonna make that one. Why is it? Didn't ask it to make it wider. Stop it. I want it short. No, okay, I'm just gonna... Here. So that's gonna cut. I put that on 106. 100 power and 6 speed. I'm doing well, thank you. Okay, let me quickly see. Oh, this one I prepared, but that needs to be off for now. So now I should only have these two. Which one is this? Ah, see, I missed one. That's how you can always double check if you did it or not. So now you see the rest is ignored. So that's always the ignored ones are on the bottom. So when you see ignored here, you know that there's only, it only goes that far. So this one and this, so that's correct. Let's go to the machine again. This will take 2 minutes only. Quickly gonna open the machine to double check inside. But you see that you cannot see anything of it, or barely. So, okay, in process, it gives me a warning that I have to stay with my machine at all times, which I of course do. And we're gonna press the button. Look at that, now we're gonna see something. Now you can also see what I meant. If you have anything vector, it will always have the same power. So if you have lines that go quite close to one another, you see that there is easy scorching happening. So then when they go too close to one another, so it already has been burned and then it burns again. So then you get like this little scorching effect, which you usually don't really want. Now this is gonna cut. So I don't have the whole plate. And that's it. So let's go and take a look. I wait for a second to let extractor take out all the fumes. Now you guys can see. The difference. So I'm gonna take this away and I'm gonna turn it around and I will show you guys the full result later. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going back to the main screen. Oh, thank you so much, Defo. You silly. all that spoilage. So this we put aside and we group it again. Where did the line go actually? Oh, it's right on there, of course. I don't need to group the line, only this. Group. And now I turn all of that off. So you click it twice. And now we're gonna put this one in, but first I'm gonna change the processing area because I only want to have that piece, and since the shape is like that, I kind of want to turn that around so I don't accidentally cut off where the ears are. So processing area, polygon, and now I'm gonna go to the machine again. And I press all the buttons every time I'm at a corner. So now I quickly did that. End marking, then he finishes. And now you can see I have to put this one a little bit lower. I keep the size the same because I lined up this one exactly with that, but they are closer to one another. Because here I still had this little part of the shade, which it doesn't have there. So that's why they are close. Now this is ready. I kind of want to see what it set this to. Again, 2000. So I'm gonna take the same settings as I had here. Select the vector. I had 8200. So I'm gonna select this, shift, click. So I keep shift pressed in and then I keep clicking. I don't have it, I think. Now I need to say 80 loops and 200. That's correct, right? Yeah, 8200. Now I want to double check this one. Yeah, okay, it was indeed. So now everything can be grouped again. And this whole thing can be on. And now it should show only those. If I now click on process, I see that everything is in there. So that is your third way of double checking that everything is all right. So this will take 13 minutes and let's see what happens, and then we see the end result afterwards. I'm clicking on start and I'm going to bring you guys back to the machine so you have a good view, because you will instantly see the big difference. So remember well, these are exactly the same settings as I had for the other one. But this is only black, so there's no gradients, there's no shades in there, just black. And you can already see that 250 is already giving a quite intense result. So I think actually 150 I really need to keep my eyes on, because that might be actually even already too intense. And the big difference is the atmosphere that you create, either with a bitmap or with a vector. Let me see if I have my one that I made the other day. For example, for this one, everybody preferred this one because this is a bitmap, and the setting of the lake and the mountains there, that it was essential to give the right vibe. Where here, everything is just the same. You see the difference? And even when you do scoring, that is even worse. But that is just the style that you want to go for. So for a landscape like that one, the bitmap was the obvious winner. But it could be that for a cartoon like this, that the vector might actually be better than the shaded one. Because of the cartoony style, I think. Now here you see, you already have like a lot of scorching. So I'm gonna stay close and take a look how that's going. I think it's gonna be fine, but there's it's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be too much. It's really funny because now it actually looks as if that there is still shading, but that is just because the fumes get pulled over that. Hello, Rory. Can what you're engraving on make an effect also on the type of... Yes, absolutely. If I would, for example, work on... Oh, yeah, thank you. If I, for example, would engrave on leather, I won't try it in a bitmap because that will not work. You won't be able to make good shades on leather. So working with a vector with clear shapes is preferred for that. I think the same goes for felt. You also don't really want to work in bitmaps on felt. Well, wood can do both. Metal can also do both. So yeah, it's and I think that's also the reason why we do these tests, to see what the material can handle. So it's a very good question, thank you. So now this is the 150 by 50. You see in the bottom right, the 90 by 150 has gotten so dark, and all those fumes got dragged over it, so that gives the scorching effect. It's usually not what you want, and that is how you end up having to sand everything. So you sand off that last layer of fumes. Now in this case, the cat starts looking like a Siamese cat. I'm doing well, Rory, thank you. How are you? Is it also very warm where you are? Tired from work, yeah. Must be really warm now at your work as well. Yeah. Can imagine that must be a very damp situation for you. I think you guys can already see like the difference, right? Between if you use a bitmap for this specific image, or that you, and with exactly the same settings, what a big difference that makes. Yeah, 1% oxygen, yeah. So for the people that don't know, he's a lifeguard. He's watching over the people in the swimming pool. So that is a very damp job. I think this one might actually be the 250 speed by 50 power. Might actually be the best one. Maybe the one below 200 speed might also still be fine. I think the rest all you can already see that those little pieces of fumes that are coming off with the heart. You had the hose for yourself with ice cold water, yeah. Yeah, I don't envy you on that. It's nice to be in the winter time. I think it's gonna be an amazing job, but in summertime when it's really hot, that must be intense. The last two. So this is 90 power, same as all the others on the right, and this is 250 speed. It might still give a decent result. As you can see, on the one below, you see above the heart, you see that little like cloud above it, and that one doesn't have that. So that's because the speed is just too fast enough to prevent it from happening. Yeah, for sure you're gonna have a nice view now and then. I think that one is also getting quite clear. I'm actually looking forward to the one that's coming after this, the last one. That's gonna be 70 speed and 70 power and 250 speed. I think that one might actually be perfect. Although this one also really looks nice. I do like a dark engraving with a nice crisp one. No, thank you. Yeah, I think it has too much scorching still. And since it's a vector, that's nothing that we're after. But yeah, I can understand what you mean, because You know, you have those Siamese cats. And they also have like those dark paws and a dark nose. And I think this one created a little bit of that by itself. Okay, does your mom have that? Yeah, they're pretty cats. My mom has a ragdoll, and that's also a little bit the same. Okay, well, I'm not gonna be on very much longer because I'm already an hour in. And today I just wanted to showcase this, and next week we're gonna do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So next week I'm gonna come back, and then we can maybe do some different materials. Like Van Delta said, it really makes a difference. So maybe we can test out a simple design. Maybe I should prepare it this time. And then we can try a simple design on different materials and see what's the difference. If it is suitable for bitmap or for vector. Okie dokie. Have a nice meal. Now the last scoring. And then it should be ready. Yippee! Yay! It was 10 seconds earlier than it thought it would be. So let's go. I think this one got bored and turned off. Of course it did. Okay, stop being bored and work. I'm gonna get the piece. Okay, which side do you guys want to see first? Shall we first look at the one that we did as first? There we go. Maybe I can bring it a little bit closer. I don't know if it makes it sharp. Here you can see that in the top it didn't do much. But the one here in the bottom right, that one really got too much. Let me see if I put it down that it's easier to see. So yeah, I think that for this one, this or this, so 7150 or 9200. I don't know, what do you guys think for the bitmap? This one, the 9200, yeah. So what I normally do, because I see that this is too much, because you can see it on the eye, it's really gotten too intense. But here it is really beautiful, but it could still be slightly darker. It doesn't really want to focus right now. Come on, don't be a bully. I try to get it in good focus, because even me with my bad eyesight, I can see that there's like still a little bit of space for a darker engraving. So what I would then normally do is, if I have another tiny piece, I would just make 1 of 4 and then go 90 by 190, 90 by 180, 90, 170, and 160. So that way I can tone it down and then see where actually my good results stop. So that is what I would then normally do if I want to have a really perfect result. But this is a good guideline. Now, shall we go to the other side? Here you can see the difference if with the exact same settings when it is a vector. Now, and that gives a whole different result. So, and what I said here, you can see there's so much scorching going on that it nearly looks intended, at least on the paws. But you can see it here around the hearts. There's like a little cloud going around it. So this one also still has it. This one kind of becomes okay, but not entirely. I would honestly say I think the middle one here looks nicest so far. Not really sure. I would need my glasses. Yeah, that is true. If you would engrave fire or smoke, that actually gives them a realistic idea. But I think, honestly, I think I would go for this with a light sanding maybe. The reason being is that this one kind of goes deep. So you can see I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually like depth in there. Whereas here it doesn't have so much depth. But that is a bit of a taste. I think both of them would come out really beautifully. So it kind of depends also on yeah, what your goal is. Yeah, I think actually the top one is the prettiest one, because when you go like on the eyes here, you see that like the eye is kind of melting in into itself, and here it doesn't really have that so much. It stays like way more clear, and here you see kind of that where the eyebrow is, it turns black because it goes close to itself. So there. That is what we wanted to show for today. I don't know if you guys have any questions about this. Might be a lot that is getting fired at you, like do this, do that, do that. I think next week we're gonna do, as I said, do the other materials, and then make a simple engraving between a bitmap and a vector, so we can see which material does what. So I'm gonna have to snoop around and see what I can find of different materials that we can get our hands on to test. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you guys will have any questions, if you can't come up with any now, feel free to write me. Above here you can see sewit.com. /so-it-links. There you can find everything where you can find me, so you can contact me in a way that suits you best. For the rest, don't forget about these two. Like I said at the start, always handy to have extra discount. Thank you for watching for today, and I'm gonna be back on next week. So